Okay, for our last example, let's take a look at test scores and grades, because there are many, many times as a teacher where students come up to me and they ask me, Mr. Henderson, how well do I need to do on the next test to get an A? Or how well do I need to do on the next test to raise my grade? And this is actually a good example that answers some of those questions some of the time. So here's just kind of a scenario that I've come up with that I have a student who, for the first 5 exam grades in this class, the students received the following scores. So they got an 83, a 76, a 92, a 59, and a 76. So they've kind of been up and down a lot. They've got one good score, one low score, and a couple in the middle. But let's just answer the questions that we've been studying so far in this section is what is the student's mean exam grade? So what is their average exam grade? So to average, you know that you should add the numbers together. So I'm going to write this out. 83 plus 76, that's a 7, plus 76, okay, plus 92, plus 59, plus 76. Okay, I'm going to add them all together and I'm going to divide by how many there are. And there are 5 scores so far. Add them all up and divide by 5. And when you're done with that and you add those up and divide by 5, you'll find out that the average test score for this student right now is 77.2. Okay, 77.2% is the average test score. So their average test is a C plus range. Let's talk next about the median. Okay, median. Median is middle again. So middle, and that means middle after I've arranged them in order. So I should start listing these scores. We'll start with the lowest score, which is 59. And then the next score is 76. And then we've got another 76. And then an 83. And a 92. And if you remember right, we're talking about the median, so we want the middle number. And a lot of times we'll just start crossing off the first and the last number, and the next first and the next last. And we're left this time with a middle number, very nicely located in the middle. The median test score is 76. All right, so that's median. Let's talk about mode. Mode is the most common. The mode is the most common. So when I look up at the scores, I'm just looking for something, the most common score, the one that happens the most, and I see 76 happens twice. The other scores do not happen twice. So the mode in this case is 76. That is the mode. Range. If you remember what range is a nice little formula, not very technical, but it's correct. It's the highest number minus the lowest number. So in this case, our range, our highest score is a 92, and our lowest score is a 59. And when we subtract 92 minus 59, we'll find the range of scores to be 33%, or a range of 33. One other question that happens, and this is the question that kind of relates to what students ask me a lot, is this. It's the same 5 scores up at the top. But let's say that this particular student has been told by their parents that if their test average isn't at least an 83, I'm going to make that's an 83, notice it's 83 here, that if it isn't at least an 83% by the end of the trimester, that they would not be getting their driver's license. So the student's a little bit motivated. They want to get their test average up to an 83. They know that there are 2 exams left. The question is, what do they need to average on the last 2 exams so that they can obtain that 83 overall exam average? So it goes back to an average. So we look at the scores, and we have 5 scores here. The question, though, is we have 2 scores that are missing. We want to know, what are these scores? What should they be so that this whole average at the top now becomes 83 or higher, but 83 is kind of the benchmark that we want to hit. So it is an average problem. We just want to average all of our test scores. An 83, a 76, a 92, a 59, a 76, one that we don't know, we're going to call that X, and another one we don't know. Now, the great debate is, what do we put here? We are going to put another X because we want to know what the average score is. We want these two could be the same. I just want to know, what do these two kind of need to be together so that we get a test average of 83? Now, I have 7 tests total. So I need to divide by 7. 7 numbers added together. And that average, we're hoping to get that to be 83. Right, there's kind of our setup for this problem, and that is a good start. Now what we want to do is we want to simplify this problem. So I'm going to add all the numbers on the top, and we did that once already, and that was that's 386. So I have 386 plus, now notice here I have x plus x. I have two x's added together. That's two unknown test scores. I'm going to divide by 7 equals 83. All right, now, if you remember from the previous problem that we did, that's 7 on the bottom. That's coincidence that that's another 7 again, by the way. But that 7 shouldn't be here, at least to help us solve this problem. We're going to multiply this side by 7 and this side by 7 so that we can get these to cross off. Okay, and what we're left with now is we'll have a 386 plus 2x equals 83 times 7, and that is 581. Doing some algebra, we'll subtract that 386 to the other side. Subtract 386. And we'll have a 2x equals 581 minus 386. You'll find that that is 195. And all that's left is to divide both sides by 2, and we'll get the answer 97.5. What we just found was, for this student, good news, bad news, I guess. The good news is they can still obtain this 83% average. It's doable. To do it, they need to average 97.5% on their last two tests. That might be the bad news. They need to score 97.5 on average